Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating and challenging aspects of human exploration, surviving in space. It's one thing to visit, to take a quick jaunt around the Earth, or even land on the Moon. But to live in space, that's a whole other story. From the lack of atmosphere to the psychological challenges of isolation, the universe throws everything it's got at us when we leave our pale blue dot. But humans are nothing if not persistent, and the quest to live among the stars pushes us to solve problems in ways we never thought possible. Let's get started. First things first, folks, you know that air you're breathing right now? Yeah, space hasn't heard of it. Out there, it's a vacuum. The moment you step outside our atmosphere, you're on borrowed time. No pressure, no oxygen, a recipe for a bad day. Spacesuits are personalized spaceships. They provide pressure and oxygen. So next time you take a deep breath, thank the atmosphere. Here on Earth, we complain about a heat wave or a cold snap. But in the grand cosmic scheme of things, our planet is actually quite temperate. Space, on the other hand, plays by a different set of rules. It's a place of extreme temperatures, where one moment you could be basking in the unfiltered glare of the sun, hotter than a furnace, and the next plunged into the depths of shadow, colder than a polar bear's nose. Imagine this. On one side of your spacecraft, the sun blazes down, reaching temperatures of 250 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to bake cookies. But on the other side, hidden from the sun's rays, the temperature plummets to a frigid minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. This dramatic temperature swing poses a serious challenge for spacecraft design. That's where thermal insulation comes into play, preventing heat transfer and maintaining a stable internal temperature. It's the reason astronauts don't turn into popsicles on the shadowed side of the Moon or get roasted like marshmallows on a sunny day in orbit. Here on Earth, we're shielded from the worst of the universe's radiation by our atmosphere and magnetic field. But venture beyond this protective bubble, and you're exposed to a constant barrage of radiation, like stepping into a cosmic shooting gallery. This isn't your everyday run-of-the-mill radiation either. We're talking high-energy particles, some traveling at nearly the speed of light, packing enough punch to knock an electron right out of an atom. This cosmic radiation can damage cells, increase the risk of cancer, and even affect the central nervous system. So how do we protect our spacefaring heroes from this invisible enemy? Shielding, my friends. Spacecraft are designed with special shielding materials like aluminum and polyethylene to absorb and deflect as much radiation as possible. But even with the best shielding, some radiation still gets through. That's why scientists are constantly working on new materials and technologies to reduce radiation exposure. Chapter 4, Zero Gravity, Big Problems Adapting to Microgravity. We humans evolved under the constant pull of Earth's gravity, but in the microgravity environment of space, our bodies go on a wild ride, adapting in ways that are both fascinating and, frankly, a little bit weird. Imagine floating effortlessly, your limbs feeling lighter than ever. Sounds fun, right? And it is for a while, but our bodies are creatures of habit and they get used to the constant pull of gravity. For starters, our muscles, no longer needed to fight against gravity's pull, start to atrophy. Astronauts can lose up to 20% of their muscle mass in just a few weeks, which is why they have to exercise religiously while in space. And it's not just our muscles that take a hit. Our bones, which rely on the stress of gravity to stay strong, also begin to weaken. Astronauts on the ISS follow rigorous exercise regimens, strapping themselves into resistance machines and even running on treadmills, while tethered, of course. Chapter 5, The Mind in Isolation, the Psychological Challenges of Space. Space travel isn't just physically demanding, it's a psychological roller coaster. Imagine being confined to a cramped spacecraft, millions of miles from home with the same small group of people for months or even years on end. The isolation and confinement of space travel can take a toll on even the most well-adjusted individuals. To combat the psychological challenges of space travel, astronaut selection and training programs prioritize mental fortitude and coping mechanisms. Astronauts undergo rigorous psychological evaluations and participate in simulations designed to test their ability to handle stress, isolation, and conflict in close quarters. It's like boot camp for the mind, preparing them for the unique challenges of living and working in the extreme environment of space. Chapter 6. Cosmic Cuisine, Food, Nutrition, and the Galactic Menu. Let's talk about something universally loved, even beyond Earth food. In space, even enjoying a meal presents unique challenges. Space food has to be carefully planned, preserved, and engineered to be edible in zero gravity. Imagine opening a bag of chips in space chaos. Space food needs to be compact, crumb-free, and often rehydratable. A balanced diet is crucial for maintaining astronaut health during missions. Thankfully, space food has come a long way. Hydroponics offers a promising solution for sustainable food production in space. Chapter 7. Every drop counts. Water supply and recycling in space. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. In space, every drop of water is precious, carefully managed and recycled. Forget about turning on the tap. Water is more valuable than gold. Space agencies excel at water conservation and recycling. The EcoLSS collects and purifies wastewater, making it drinkable again. Future Moon and Mars missions will need to generate water in situ. Chapter 8. The ultimate recycling challenge, waste management in space. Here on Earth, we generate a lot of trash. But on a spacecraft where every ounce, every cubic inch of space matters, waste management becomes more than just a chore. It's a critical life support function. Imagine if we treated trash on a spaceship the way we sometimes do on Earth, tossing it overboard or letting it pile up in landfills. Not only would it create a hazard to the spacecraft itself, but it would also pollute the surrounding environment, turning our cosmic backyard into a giant garbage dump. So what happens to all the trash generated on a space mission? It's all about reducing, reusing, and recycling, but taken to a whole new level. Waste is carefully sorted, compacted, and sometimes even incinerated to reduce its volume. Materials like plastic and metal are melted down and potentially reused for 3D printing, creating new tools and parts on demand. And for those waste products that can't be recycled or reused, careful containment and disposal are crucial. Chapter 9. Can you hear me now? Communication delays in deep space. We take instant communication for granted, but in space, even the speed of light has its limits. As we venture further from Earth, communication delays become an unavoidable reality, forcing us to rethink the way we communicate and operate in space. Imagine trying to have a conversation with someone on Mars from your living room on Earth. You say something, and then silence. Minutes tick by, stretching into an agonizing wait as your message travels millions of miles at the speed of light. Finally, you hear a response, delayed by the vast gulf of space separating you. These communication delays pose significant challenges for mission control and astronauts alike. To address these challenges, space agencies are developing advanced communication technologies and strategies. Chapter 10. Powering the future energy requirements for space exploration. Space exploration is a power-hungry endeavor. From launching rockets to powering life support systems to transmitting data across vast distances, every aspect of space travel requires a tremendous amount of energy. Solar power, harnessing the energy of our nearest star, is the go-to energy source for many spacecraft, particularly those operating in close proximity to the Sun. Large solar arrays, like those on the International Space Station, convert sunlight into electricity, powering onboard systems and charging batteries. But as we venture further from the Sun, solar power becomes less viable. For missions to the outer solar system and beyond, alternative energy sources are needed. Radioisotope thermoelectric generators, or RTGs, utilize the heat generated by the natural decay of radioactive isotopes to produce electricity. Surviving among the stars, the continuing challenge. Thanks for watching. We've journeyed from the challenges of breathing in a vacuum to the complexities of waste management in microgravity, the psychological strains of isolation, and the quest for sustainable energy sources. Surviving in space isn't for the faint of heart. It demands the very best of our ingenuity, resilience, and collaborative spirit. But it's not just about survival. It's about pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and expanding our presence in the cosmos. Every challenge we overcome, every solution we find, brings us closer to unlocking the secrets of the universe and securing our future among the stars. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating content about space and science. Leave a comment below on what you think is the biggest challenge of surviving in space. See you next time.